So on today's episode, we're going to listen to an entrepreneur telling her story about how to build an eco-conscious e-commerce brand. It's a great episode you do not want to miss, so do stay tuned. Hi 2Xers, welcome to the 2X e-commerce podcast show. I'm your host, Kunle Campbell, and this is the e-commerce podcast dedicated to rapid growth in the direct-to-consumer selling space. So if you work in marketing at an e-commerce business or a founder, I'm going to help you sell more direct to your customers. Each week on this podcast, I interview an expert, a founder at a direct-to-consumer e-commerce business, a representative from a best-in-class e-commerce SaaS product, and we're focused in helping you improve e-commerce growth metrics such as your conversions, your average order value, repeat customers, your audience size, and ultimately your sales. Our remit, their remit, is to help you sell more sustainably. So welcome to the 2X e-commerce podcast show. The episode you're about to listen to is an interview I had with Andréa Bernholtz. She's a special person, let's put it that way. She's very eco-conscious, both in her life, her personal life. She's the kind of person that goes to the beach on her birthday with her daughter and they clean up the beach. Yet she is a serial entrepreneur. She founded an iconic brand, an iconic denim brand in 2002 called Rock and Republic. Some of you may know it. It's in the same vein as the True Religions and a lot of those other jeans from the 2000s, from the noughties, if you remember. Seven for Mankind. You remember Seven for Mankind. If you guys remember, you're from the noughties, right? So she created a very iconic brand back in the days, exited, dipped her toes in a few more businesses, and eventually she started Swiminista, which is like an eco-conscious swimwear brand that still has a very luxurious feel to it. It oozes luxury in that respect. These are the early days, and the reason I brought her in the light of all that is happening from an ecological standpoint. Remember COP 2026 that just rounded up in Glasgow. Just being eco-conscious and being sustainable is something we all need to be thinking about now. It is not just something to tick. It's not a box to tick. It is something really to care about, looking at your supply chain, looking at your footprint, and looking at the impact you're leaving on the planet, what we're leaving behind for those after us, essentially. And just being cognizant of that and building out meaningful businesses that are respectful of Mother Nature, of Earth, this Earth, our only home. That's what this is all about. And when the opportunity to speak with her came on my table, I was like, yes, I want to kind of get into the mind of an eco-conscious entrepreneur. And she's proven and she's made that decision that she would consciously give back to the planet or use planet resources responsibly, as well as grow a business. So it's a terrific episode. Here's a bit about her before you jump into the episode. I'm going to read a bit of her bio. So she's a California native, a serial mompreneur, and fashion house behind the eco-conscious Swiminista brand. Known for co-founding the luxury denim line Rock and Republic in 2002, she helped to transform the company into a celebrity favorite and globally recognized name offering cosmetics, accessories, and clothing. In 2015, she became the CEO of Titan Industries, adding high fashion footwear to her resume. Her latest venture features chic swimwear that combines her love of fashion, swimming, and the environment. I've been able to find a swimsuit that fits just right, explains Bernholtz. If it holds me up, it looks like a sports bra or too old-fashioned. Right, so this is the Swiminista story thus far. There is a lot ahead of it. Just get into the mind of this very, very clever human being, a special human being who is giving back to the planet at the same time building something meaningful. Enjoy this episode. Before you listen to this episode, you're going to listen to our sponsors, Klaviyo, Rewind, and the rest of them. All our sponsors, essentially. We respect you. I shall catch you on the next show. Cheers. Welcome, Andrea, to the 2X e-commerce podcast.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
It's a pleasure, having you on the podcast, and it's so refreshing to get a founder of a brand that truly has eco values. So it is really a pleasure having Swiminista on the 2x e-commerce podcast. Would you mind sort of giving us a little intro about you before we get into Swiminista?
Sure. My name is Andréa Bernholtz. I'm a Scorpio. I like long walks on the beach. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm Andréa Bernholtz, and I had a former business called Rockland Republic, and I learned a lot about the business there. I sold that business and took a semi-early retirement, only to find myself being sucked back into swimwear, and taking the lessons that I've learned in my life growing up in a very eco-friendly family and applied those into the brand that I have today, which is Swiminista. And the name comes from my love for fashion into swimwear. And I grew up in Southern California, and I went between California and Hawaii. So swimwear was always a really big part of my life. And finding the right fit in swimwear has always been a struggle, and something that was comfortable, always a struggle. And I grew up with kind of hippie parents, if you will. And we were recycling before recycling was even a thing. I kind of thought we were poor. And I would ask my mom, like, why are we saving newspapers and bottles and driving them, an hour away to this recycling center? And why are we turning off lights to save electricity? And as I got older, I realized really what my parents were doing and the importance of it. But when you're younger, when like you're not allowed to eat sugar and you have to save paper, you're like, what are you doing? None of my friends are, but it's instilled in me, and it always really has been. And now I'm able to really dive super deep into that. And I'm also able to share kind of the things that I've learned with my team, with other people, and how I live my life. There's so many eco-friendly things that I do within my own life. I don't use laundry detergents. I use these laundry sheets that disintegrate. So there's no big plastic bottles. We don't use plastic bottles in our home. Everything is, reusable bottles. We, even our straws have always been bamboo or paper growing up. Right. Our cutleries, bamboo, recycled, reusable. So it's always just been a way of life. And it's really nice to see the world kind of coming up with really nice alternatives and kind of chic ways to do things now. Right. Before it was a little, like I said, kind of hippie, and now it's a lot more chic. And I think in creating a chic brand, it really goes within what's happening in the times. And we're able to create this brand that, you feel our materials on our swimwear, and people, they can't even believe it's made from recycled materials.
We're going to go into Swiminista. I still want to dig a little deeper into your childhood and your first brand, Rockland Republic, which is kind of like a cult hit among celebrities and and a lot of people. It's phenomenal. So we'll touch on that. I guess my question is, when you had this conscious upbringing, did that sort of go with you growing up, or did you ditch it, especially at the point of Rockland Republic?
I never abandoned my eco-friendliness. Okay. It's interesting because at Rockland Republic, we also did a lot of very eco-friendly initiatives, but nobody really cared when we talked about it to the press. We would take all of our damaged denim and we had it shredded, and it was used for insulation in low-income housing. And I was really proud of that. And whenever I would talk about it in the press, people were like, yeah, whatever. It wasn't an interesting subject for them. They wanted to hear about Victoria Beckham. They wanted to hear about David. They wanted to hear about, all these different people wearing Rockland Republic and stars and celebrities and everything. That was kind of the time more interesting, which was interesting as well. And
this was in 2002, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So it was really a fun, very fast moving, crazy ride. It really kind of started as a hobby with my business partner and myself, and it took off like crazy. And I immediately went to Europe, and at the dollar at that time was a very it was weak in Europe. So it was really great to have American brands in Europe, and American denim was really hot. And our fits were amazing. You know, we did a lot of little tricks to slim your body, make your bum look good, and, you know, thin out your legs. So it made you look fantastic. And denim was a really popular thing to wear on red carpets. So it was a natural to wear Rock and Republic. And our jeans were also super long. So tall celebrities, models, they were able to wear heels, and they were able to wear all this great denim, you know, Brooke Shields and Gabrielle Reese and all these really beautiful models were able to wear it. So it grew extremely fast. And it was really interesting looking at a business then to today's world. You know, there was no social media. We didn't even start an e-commerce business until we were several years into our business. It was a very organic kind of media. And at the time too, we had shop and shops at Harrods, and in Paris, we had Galeries Lafayette and Rinascente in Italy. So we had a really strong presence internationally. So on a global level, it was really great. And then we actually started the men's collection really because my business partner wanted some jeans, and, you know, he couldn't really wear anyone else's jeans except Levi's, because like Levi's was the OG, right? So you had respect there. So I was like, well, make some jeans then for yourself. And that again took off like wildfire. And so it was a really great, fun business. And, you know, we had other categories as far as shoes and eyewear, makeup, and we did not do a licensing platform. So we really learned everything about all the different businesses and what it took. And it was a very interesting, very educational trip for us. And we had 5 retail stores in the US. And it was really fun. The amazing fashion shows. It was a really fun ride.
Did you sell on the internet? Did you sell back in 2002? Were you selling online?
Well, not initially. I think we're about 3 years into the brand, which was really fun because when you're already established brand and there's already this buzz. And if they couldn't find you, all of a sudden there was the internet, right? And so our internet business overnight was like multi-millions. It was crazy. We had no idea what to expect at that time. And it really took off faster than we could ever imagine.
Yeah. And you probably gave yourself the head start building brand first. You had a 3-year head start, where you're really building the brand offline. And then, when you open the gates online, all of that, all the dividends essentially from what you'd invested in brand just translated into, online sales.
Exactly.
Phenomenal. And then when did you sort of closed, or you sold it off in 2011, and then you went on to Titan Industries, I believe.
Yes, well, actually, my goal was to be retired, and then I got suckered into working. I was the CEO of Titan Industries, which was a footwear licensing company, and I found it interesting because, well, first of all, I'm a woman. I love shoes. And secondly, we didn't do any licensing at Rock and Republic. So this was an opportunity for me to learn something. So I wanted to learn about licensing. So I thought it was kind of a win-win. But I did find that working for another brand, even though I was a CEO, it wasn't anything that I built, and it was just a different kind of environment. So I worked my contract out, and then I decided not to renew and took some time off until something organically happened again, which then became Swiminista. And, even Rock and Republic, it was kind of an organic thing. My business partner made some jeans for his girlfriend. And at first I was reluctant because I never could find jeans for my body that fit good. And when I tried them on, they fit great. So I thought, okay, we're onto something. Let's make this our passion project, because we had actually at the time a company that did digital dye sublimation, which is very popular now, but at the time it was not. That's the format where you take a photograph and it translates onto different, fabrics and materials.
Right.
Like we did the Hard Rock Hotel, and it was like on a shirt or a pillow, that kind of a thing. And we did things for Disney, and it was, it was a cool business, but their true creativity wasn't there. So we thought, oh, well, great. We'll start Rock and Republic as a little passion project. And it completely, obviously, went wildfire.
Incredible. Fascinating. So you founded Swiminista in an effort to give women the confidence to celebrate their bodies and to reduce the impact swimwear has on the planet by softening their own footprint using luxury recycled fabrics to create their entire collection. I read it off your profile on your LinkedIn, and there's so much to unpick there. When did you start to think or ideate Swiminista, and how did you sort of start to put the building blocks together?
Well, I was on a trip actually in Mexico with my friends, and everyone was complaining about how their swimwear didn't fit right. And they knew obviously that I, knew how to make clothes and manufacture. So they're like, "Hey, Andrea, why don't you start a swim brand?" And in my head, I know what it takes. And at this time now, in my head, I'm retired. I have a baby. I have a nice life, and I'm thinking I don't want to get back into it's so if you want to do something, you have to do it right. It's so involved. I thought, no, I don't want to do that. And then it got my creative entrepreneurial juices going. And I started what I call Frankensteining suits together. I started cutting things up and literally like stapling them because I'm not much of a sewer. And I would put things together and create things. And I would think, wow, if you make it adjustable here and adjustable here. And then I also took one of my favorite bras and I kind of used that as a almost like a car chassis, and you build around it. I took one of my favorite bras and built it around that. And it's actually one of our best selling suits, and you can wear it multiple different ways. It's super chic. It's super supportive. I've hidden all of the wires and the stays and everything that does all the work. So it doesn't look like it has to work so hard. And, I did little tricks, like I said, that I learned at Rock and Republic. Moving a seam over just a little bit, a lot of times changes, how things look on your body. And I try to make things as adjustable as possible because no bodies are the same. And even women's bodies continually to change. So, by having them being adjustable, we're able to create a great fit. If things are a little tight, great. You can loosen them up. And if they're a little loose, then great, tighten it up. And it's just, you're outside basically naked, right? You're walking around in your underwear. So you want to feel supported. You want to feel good. You want to feel like you look your best. And I tried to make that, even the backs of our suits, they're ruched. So it rounds out your tush. And, a lot of women, they say, oh, I need more coverage on my butt, but women don't realize that if your bum is here and you cover your bum with fabric, your bum is going to look this big. But if you cover your bum with this much fabric, right, then your eye goes here. So your eye naturally comes in a little bit. So if we make our bottoms a little bit smaller, your eye just comes in a bit and you naturally look a little smaller. And then having the ruching on the back creates curves. And so it gives it a little lift.
Right. You sound like, I can't speak to bikinis, but you sound like you know what you're doing, and it shows in Swiminista. So who is the Swiminista customer, and how did you sort of define a Swiminista? How did you define your customer personas?
Swiminista really is for women that, really anywhere from, I have teenagers wearing it. I have 60-year-olds wearing it, but
Wow.
I think that women who, don't want to wear just little triangle tops anymore and G-strings, when you're younger, you can pretty much get away with anything. But I think as we get older, or we just want to feel a little more supported, and, I would probably say, I think our customer, when we do surveys or whatever, our average customer, I think she's like 36 years old, and, but
so what
really
does she
great.
do? Where does she shop? Does she shop at Whole Foods?
It's really, What's that?
So where does she shop? What's her profile like? Where does she go on holidays?
She goes to resorts on holiday. Okay. Usually has a small child, which led us to starting our little girls collection as well, and that does extremely great. Having the mommy matching, it's adorable. So that's been really great. We just launched that, and it's gone like crazy. It's so cute. I can't stand it. And so, she's upwardly mobile and she likes to take care of herself, but she has some class. And, it's interesting. A lot of the women, they'll buy two suits. They'll buy the one-piece bathing suit to be with the family. And then she'll buy the smaller bathing suit, the bikini, to tan and, and hang out with her girlfriends. Girls trip.
Absolutely. So you have, bags with multiple items, essentially, sessions or shopping session with multiple, units in there. The reason I ask is, do they buy from a style perspective or an eco credential? Do they say, okay, this is eco friendly, and so Swiminista is eco friendly, and so we'll see what's on offer and then we'll buy? Or do they look at the style first and say, okay, style's great, does it check the eco? How does it? What's their thought process?
I understand what you're asking, and it's really, to be honest, it's style first. And when they learn that it's eco-friendly, it's a bonus. And I think if anything, it might take away some guilt or give them like, oh, okay, well then maybe I'll buy a sarong too, or maybe they just feel a little bit better about it. But initially, it's the look, and also we don't have anything that ties behind your neck, because that's so painful. And especially nowadays, everyone's on a computer or this, and there's so many more neck issues than ever before. And we have styles that look like a halter top per se, but they don't hurt your neck. And we've collaborated with the famous French design house of Christian Lacroix, and the prints are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, so the first thing you see is like, wow, this looks amazing. Then you put it on, you're like, wow, it fits great. And then you dig deeper and you see, oh my gosh, it's eco-friendly. This is wonderful. So it really makes people feel better about buying, but it's not the initial thing that they look for.
And do you think with the eco credentials, they're willing to spend a bit more to curtail the guilt?
I think so.
Okay.
I think they feel that it's got more quality, and it does, the guilt thing. And I think that's also why our little girls collection does so well. It's like, mommy bought a bathing suit. Well, okay, then little girl can get one too.
Interesting. Very, very, very fascinating. So let's get into a typical product. How eco. I want to sort of look at this as a stack from an eco credential standpoint. How well thought out this is. So in terms of like the actual materials for the swimsuits, for Swiminista swimsuits, what kind of materials, raw materials are you using? Where are they sewn? Are they manufactured in the USA? Are they manufactured abroad? Could you shed a bit more light in that, please?
Sure. So the materials, they're all, first of all, they come from post-consumer materials, such as, like I said, mostly plastic bottles, and even like, the fake grass and those kinds of things, post-consumer goods.
Yeah.
Yes. And so those are broken down, and then the fibers are woven together to create the material. And that's all done in Italy at a house there. And I've got, I do some sewing in Los Angeles, California, and then also a super eco-friendly, it sounds odd, but a super eco-friendly factory in China that I've been to many times. And it's actually quite beautiful. It has instead of cubicles, they use trees as their separation for their workstations. There is a koi pond in that runs throughout. And it's very, very eco-friendly, very environmentally good. And like the work, it's very small also. I think that has a lot to do with it. It's small, so they're able to do that. It's not your typical large, huge factory in China. It's very small.
Okay, so you have 3 facilities, one in Italy, one in Los Angeles.
In Italy, it's just for the fabrics.
It's for the fabrics. Okay.
Yes.
So the fabrics are taken from Italy, then to China and Los Angeles, and then you have sewing facilities in Los Angeles and China. Is that
correct? Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then in regards to the packaging, what does packaging look like? I'm just trying to think about any other eco credentials? And are you measuring like the carbon footprint, essentially, or would that be later on?
Well, I think later on we can measure that a little bit better. But
Mm-hmm.
right now, things that look like, for me, when a plastic bag, if you will, I was trying to find, initially I was doing bags that were reusable, but I found that if I actually used a bag that wasn't reusable but was compostable, that was actually a better option for being eco-friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And by fastening all of our tags on with metal versus a plastic, those little guns,
Yeah.
those little tabs, that those add up to some major amounts of plastics.
Plastic. Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't use any of those. And even the sanitary liner inside of the bathing suits, those are compostable as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, too, our packing tape is the paper tape, and our boxes are compostable, and they're also made out of recycled materials. We're, we're putting out now like a little wet bag, and it's made from Tyvek, which is a material that's used on like houses, and it's like a waterproof material that is reusable over and over and over. So you can put your
Yeah.
wet bathing suit in that. So everything that we kind of align ourselves with, we like to be on the same mindset. We're putting
Okay.
together kind of like things that I like and I use that are eco-friendly. I find myself sharing so much information about these things. Like I have a suitcase, it's from Solagard, and it's made from recycled plastic bottles. So we're putting together kind of a shopping site, like of things that I find on our site as well that are eco-friendly. So you can kind of encompass all of your eco-friendly needs and guidelines. I'm not certified in anything, but I do.
Yeah.
I do some research on what I look for, any sort of
Yeah.
sunblocks that I use. They are reef safe, so they don't hurt the reef. They are, I try to mitigate the amount of chemicals that are in things. So we're putting it together, fashionista finds on our website, so you can find a lot of eco-friendly things there as well. It's just a big part of my life and who I am. And that's how my little girl, she has her little recycling. That's her job. She
Yeah.
collects, and we do ocean cleanups, beach cleanups, mountain cleanups. I have a saying that I learned years ago when I was a little girl: take only memories and leave only footprints. So it's like when you leave someplace, leave it cleaner than you found it.
Absolutely.
It's so devastating. Recently Mother's Day, we were at the beach and we stayed and we watched the sunset, and there was nobody left on the beach. And I looked, and there was so much garbage. It was absolutely disgusting. And we also use compostable bags for rubbish. And we filled up so many bags just walking around after one day of Mother's Day. And it makes me really sad. Really sad.
Well, that's an amazing way to spend Mother's Day, though. And
yeah,
on your daughter.
I really like when people see that, and then it makes them aware. Whether they feel guilty, I don't know, but like, come on, throw it away. Or people thank me all the time. I said, don't thank me, just clean up.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be yours to clean it up.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not sure what the coverage of COP 20 was it 26 was like. The recently concluded COP 26 in Glasgow, all through last week was like in at least at the time of recording, all through last week. In Glasgow was in the States. When the UK, it was quite predominant. And what they also did is they primed us up with a few TV shows from David Attenborough and other environmentalists, about the impact of like global warming and just what we're doing as humans, how we're messing up the planet. And it really, piqued my awareness on sustainability, and, we in e-commerce and retail, we often push the the consumption narrative with advertising, with brands and all of that, but in fashion, obviously we have major corporates of like fast fashion. I guess my question is, what are your thoughts on like sustainable fashion, being more long fashion as compared to like fast fashion, slow fashion? Is it something you're pushing at Swiminista, in terms of where these garments, these bikinis you have, will last a lifetime? And how do you sort of, balance that out from a customer lifetime value? We always want our customers to come back to buy from us again and again. That's what keeps us in business. So how do we sort of balance that sustainability, side of things with profit, essentially?
I mean, it is a catch-22, but I think like right now, actually, we're pushing our one-piece bathing suits and we're showing you other ways to wear them. You can wear them with jeans. You can put a skirt with it. So we're kind of showing you that there's versatility in it, and you don't need then to buy a bodysuit or, a tank top per se, where you could wear your bathing suit. And so there's other ways to wear that. So it's for us, it's multiple ways to wear what you have, and to make you realize you don't have to have so many things. You don't have to have so much. And if you're going to buy something, to please buy it with a conscious. And if that means we sell a little bit less, because our suits last and it's such high quality, well, that's okay. In the long run, the world obviously is massive. And as we get our mission out there and our statement out there, there's plenty of people to wear Swiminista. And I think it is important to buy things with integrity that are long lasting. And it's very interesting that I think a whole decades was missed on the eco-friendly front. And now, having a young daughter myself, I see that the kids are so conscientious of it. When we do birthday parties, there's, if there's a little bag or something, there's never any plastics or candies or anything like this. It's like a book for all the kids. They love that. Or, and put it in a bag that you can buy your vegetables in. And that's the gift card, and I think it's really cool that the kids are so aware, and they love the shows, the David Attenborough and so on and so forth, and they're so into it. And the kids love the cleanups, and they love getting trash, and the young awareness of it is very, very important for the future. And I think as we become aware and we buy better quality things that last longer, is a better thing. And like I said, it is a catch-22. Okay, so I'll sell one bathing suit instead of two. That's okay. Oh, I lost your.
So I'll just echo what you said in regards to being just conscious as an individual, because your consciousness, your eco consciousness, is actually reflected in your brand and business. That's a way to start. Actually, I was going to ask you a question around how should just brand owners listening to this podcast start building out a sustainable initiative, but they have to start out in their lives first before I think their business, essentially, or else it'll be just greenwashing in my opinion.
I completely agree. It has to be truly organic. It's not, flavor of the month. Oh, I think I'm going to be, eco-friendly this week. It's not real. And I think a lot of people will see the transparency of it. And because this really is who we are, because this is who I am, and sharing that, it resonates, and the whole company resonates. And I think people become more aware, and you become more aware of what you're wasting and how you can make little changes. And I think it starts with little changes. I mean, we didn't pollute the entire world overnight, right? It took a long time. So it's going to take a long time to reverse it, but we have to start to reverse that now. So, start recycling your materials, start using, if you have to have a straw, maybe it's bamboo. If, don't use plastics, use metal containers to bring your lunch in, use compostable bags for your sandwiches. There's so many little things that you can do if you look in your cupboard and try to, even if you Google how to sub out eco-friendly laundry detergents. I don't use sheets. What are the dryer sheets? I use these wool balls, and you just throw them in there instead of having the dryer sheets out in the world. They make things that are better for paper. What is those? paper towels, that
paper towels,
things that
yeah.
you can just wash and throw in the washing machine. There's lots of little changes that everybody can start to make. And once everyone starts to make little changes, it'll start to affect the world.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's some e-commerce startups that say, for every sale we make, we're going to plant a tree. But every other aspect of their operations is not thought out at all from an eco perspective.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like a red light. It's just greenwashing to try and get
Yeah.
the sustainable badge, on their brand, and being very deliberate, in your DNA, whether it's the materials you choose, the factories you choose, your partners, and also your packaging, and also even your third, your delivery, your last mile delivery. All of those, actually come to play. Okay, just wrapping up, I'd just like to ask about other initiatives. So you were founded back in 2019. 2020 happened as we know it. We don't want to talk about 2020 too much, but what initiatives have you tried to just improve customer experience at Swiminista? I could see you have a try at home. What's the thought process between your try at home and what other ways are you trying to delight customers?
Well, I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for women to shop and feel the most comfortable, get the best fit possible. Creating my style guide is a really strong thing for us. So if you can, punch in your bra size and you punch in your, jean size or your dress size, that's going to tell you on the styles what the fit is going to be for your body in Swiminista. And we're
Mhm.
also implementing a Zoom feature. So if you want to speak with a representative and ask a question, you can set up a Zoom call, say like what's going to fit for my body, or a lot of women have maybe a scar from something. What's the best style for me? We try to
Mhm.
answer as many questions as possible on our website. Styles that are the most supportive, styles that are for sportiness. And if you have additional questions, we want to be there and help you. So we've set up Zoom, and we also, for our customer service, we let you know that you've sent an email. We'll get right back with you. We try to have really good communication. We try to let the customer know, honestly, you're important, and trying to make a customer happy. And a lot of times a customer will say, I'm going on a trip, and then we'll ask them, where are you going? What are you wearing? What are you doing? I find, our customer service agent, she gets really into it. And she's, what I like too is like all of us at the company, we are different size women. And
Mhm.
so it's really great, and it's very relatable for women, and it's very easy for our customer service to be like, hey, here's this person, and she sounds like your size, and she's wearing, this, how do you relate to that? And it's very helpful, and it's
Right.
very sincere, because we want to be treated really great. So we want our customers to be treated really great.
Mm, mm. And I also see the inclusiveness, the body positivity, and the selection of models on your site. They're women of all sizes, on your website, right? So just finally, can you get Swiminista exclusively from your website, from your e-commerce store, or are you multi-channel? Do you sell in brick and mortar? Do you sell retail?
We are sold in a lot of resorts. The Four Seasons Resorts is one of our biggest chains that we sell. And it was a conscious effort to sell online and in the resorts, because resorts evokes that great memory of a great experience. Excuse me, a great trip, and it brings you back there. It has that, excuse me, selling in the, oh my gosh, sorry.
That's
Selling in the
that's okay.
resorts has been a really big focus for us, because it evokes a great memory, and it takes you back to a fond place that you were at, and you bought Swiminista, and every time you wear it now, you are reminded of this great trip that you had.
Mm,
And now we are starting to sell a lot of brick and mortar, because we are getting more popular, and stores have been contacting us, which has been wonderful. And we've had to bring on, our vice president of sales to handle that, which is I'm very grateful for. But
yeah.
I think too, when you see things in real life, you can really appreciate the beautiful workmanship, the beautiful quality, the colors and the collaboration that we did with the House of Christian Lacroix. The colors and the prints are so beautiful and so vibrant that, seeing anything in real life is always a little bit better.
Very, very interesting. Super interesting. One of the points I wanted to make was the fact that because your products are so lightweight, you must be selling globally. Where do you ship to? Do you ship internationally, or is it just domestic at the moment?
We can ship all over the world. We ship Dubai, Egypt, all over.
Yeah, I can understand, and that's the beauty about there's a brand here called Gymshark. Totally different demographic, by the way, and they're able to fulfill here from the Birmingham, from the Birmingham fulfillment center to Australia because they're just lightweight. So it's just having the right logistics partner. So it really rings itself, with regards to expansion. Right, I could go on and on, Andrea. Incredible conversation. Very, very interesting finding out about Swiminista. For those who want to find out more about Swiminista, it's SWINMINSTA, Swiminista.com. I will link to it in the show notes. What about you? Do you hang out on social media, or do you? If yes, what social media accounts are you most active on?
I'm a sucker for those dog photos. Really, I check out really kind of beautiful spots, eco-friendly things, innovative things that happening in the world as far as new types of products. I spent a lot of time in Hawaii, and I used to at Rock Republic. I spend over 200 days of the year traveling internationally. So I have loads of friends outside of the US. So it's a really great way to stay connected with my friends. And I know I should use it more for business, but
no, not at all.
To stay with my family and friends. My dear family has moved to the mountains. So it's a way to stay in touch. I think social media can be the devil or the angel, but I chose the angel with it. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, incredible stuff. Thank you, for coming in to share, your eco story, the brand story, and it is just refreshing to learn about a brand, that's very eco conscious at its heart, and not greenwashing. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for focusing on that instead of just, boobs.